Now, here's the truth. If he's only reaching out to you when it's convenient for him, makes you feel guilty about wanting more, or just does just enough to keep you hooked and reeled in, he is using you. Those are actual signs that he is using you. Now, in this video, we're gonna take a dive, all right, into how to determine whether a man is really into you. Is he just using you? And for you just to not waste your time on somebody who's going to be using you, because you want to spend your time with somebody who's actually vested in you and actually interested in you and just not using you. Now, when you're looking for a man and you're in a dating phase, you want to have somebody that is going to respect you and treat you with the respect that you deserve. Now, these subtle red flags are red flags that you have to be aware of, especially more importantly in the dating phase of getting to know a man. And these are going to be these red flags that you need to pay attention to. Not because that's the problem sometimes, is that red flags get ignored. Focus on these red flags, because these are going to be the red flags and signs that he's taking advantage of you. When a man only reaches out when he wants something, red flag number one. Red flag number one. When a man only reaches out when he needs something from you. This is a sign not only just out of, him using you, but this just really shows that the communication is really on his terms. It's not on your terms. He's only contacting you when he wants something. He's not contacting you when, to check in with you or to see how your day was, or, he may lead with that. And this is where y'all gotta be very careful. A man may lead with that. He may lead with, okay, hey babe, how you doing? I need this. Or, hey, the conversation may not just come off as just, hey, I need this. It may just gradually get into that. And that's the whole reason why he contacted you. It wasn't just because to check in with you, is because he needed something from you. Now, again, this shows that the communication is on his terms. It's not on y'all terms. You may reach out to him and he may not be as invested in the conversation, but when he needs something, antennas are gonna be up and he's gonna be talking to you until he gets what he wants from you. Emotional exploration is important when it comes to knowing if a man is really interested in you and if he is just using you and not trying to build anything outside of whatever the needs that you're providing him. You may be providing him with money, a safe space, housing, or even just emotional support. And it may seem as if a man feels safe with you, to talk about his emotions. And I know that's a big indicator for men. If we reach out to you for emotional support, that can seem as, okay, I'm the one. And, he trusts me and with his emotions and things of that nature. But you have to kind of read in between the lines with this. Is it mutual? When he reaches out to you, you pour into him, but also when you need emotional support, is he able to give that in return? He knows that you're always going to be there. You can literally be on standby because he knows that you're going to be there for him. But is the feeling mutual? Is there a level of respect for each other to be there for each other in each other's time of need? This can be a sign also of a lack of just genuine interest. And is he really vested in you? Or is he going by his calendar when he can reach out to you? I always say if a man is super busy, he's going to still make time for the things that's important for him. And if those things are specifically important to him, and for example, in this video, then you can be the priority in a lot of different areas in his life. It's just a man chooses what his priorities are. Because if you're the prize and you know your value and your worth, and you are able to see this, you have to really look at this as a red flag and make the choice whether you should be pursuing this man or not. Because if he's just reaching out to you when he needs something, that's a telltale sign. That's a huge telltale sign. The other part of this, when a man just reaches out to you for, when he needs something, is there's no effort on a man's part. There's no effort on a man's part to plan things, to make time for you, spend quality time for you. It's always when he needs something, when he wants something. There's no plans beyond that. Now, if you feel like you're giving on a consistent basis, that's a telltale sign that you're being used. If you feel like you're giving and it's not being reciprocated, then that can be a telltale sign that you're being used. Now, the caveat to this is, and I don't want y'all to get confused with this at all, is there are points of times in dating and relationships where, you may be on the high and they may be on the low, and you may be on the low and they may be on the high, meaning that they may need to build you up and you also may need to build them up. But if it's a constant, you building this person up, then he's using you. He may not admit it, he may not say it point blank period, he may deny it, but when it's your time of need, is he there for you? Or do you feel covered? Do you feel protected? Do you feel as if that he will be there at a drop of a dime? Now, another red flag is that he avoids being vulnerable with you. There's no attempt. Again, with men, it takes a little bit more warming for us to be vulnerable, but if there is no attempt, that is a red flag that you're possibly being used. And you may be wondering, what does this vulnerability have to do with me feeling like I'm using now? Because that's a him issue, right? That's not a me issue. And I'm gonna say this, and this is why you're being used, is because he's keeping things superficial. He's not being honest with you. He's not being real with you. And he's using you to fill in his time because he may have issues with being by himself. He may be using you because he doesn't really want to deal with certain things. He may be using you as an outlet. And you may not even realize it because it's not consciously that you're giving something to him. It's not like, oh, well, I gave him money or I gave him this, I was helping him with that. But you being in his presence, he's using you because if he's not being vulnerable and open and he's not willing to be real with you and be superficial, he's using you in that sense. And that's something that you have to be aware of. And this is a tricky one. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna say this is, something you should know off the rip and off the bat. This is a tricky one. So a man who is emotionally distant isn't going to be vested in you. So you could be wasting your time with somebody who is not really going to be that open with you. Also, if a man is not being vulnerable with you. Now, if a man is not being vulnerable with you, this is another telltale sign that he's avoiding commitment. So he's using you for his own interests or whatever it may be, but you're being used because he's not going to really fully commit. So you may have the idea of, oh, we're going to get married or we're going to make this a long-term thing. And in his mind, he's not there. He's not trying to do that. You're just filling in for his lack of emotional capacity to deal with his loneliness or be by himself. And again, when you have a man who is avoiding being real with you, it also brings in the point of this being a one-sided situation, a one-sided relationship. And you don't want to be in a one-sided relationship because a relationship is not necessarily a 50-50, because I don't like to use that word 50-50, but it's a give and take. It's when you have it, I got you. When you don't have it, I got you, and vice versa. And you want to be able to be in a position where if you feel as if you're always doing the work, then that's a telltale sign, again, that you're being used. Now, going more specifically, if he only shows interest when you give him something, that's a telltale sign again of you being used. Well, you may pay for something, or you may give him a ride. He may tell you, oh, I love you, or thank you, but it's only when you're doing something. Now, this is a red flag because this becomes a very transactional relationship. Now, if you're in a situation where you always have to do for him to open up or say, I love you, or whatever it may be, sex, it may be giving him a ride, it may be giving him money, it may be doing something like you're doing an act of service to get a small point of interest from him. And he may seem interested, and this is where you have to reevaluate again. Is he really interested in you or what you're doing for him? Do you notice a spark of interest because you have done things for him? And he may always seem happy. He may always seem interested. He may always seem as if he's enthused about the relationship and the dating situation because you're doing for him. Now, who doesn't like their back rubbed? That's why the example I'm gonna give. Who doesn't like being taken care of? So this is something that you have to be hyper aware of when we're talking about, are you being used? And is he using you? And that's a telltale sign that he is using you if it is a transactional relationship. Another part of this is you're his backup, meaning not like a backup chick or whatever it may be. Could possibly be. But when I say you're his backup is that When there's a problem, you're always there to solve it. When he's having an issue, you're always the person to provide the solution. And he's always around when he has a problem or issue. And it's like, how is it that, this man always shows up to me and he's always have a problem, or he's only showing up to me when he has an issue? And you may think this man has problems and issues, and it's like, well, the man may not have problems and issue in his life, but that's the part of him that you see, because, okay, my car broke down, I'm calling you, or hey, I need this, I need some money, I'm calling you. You're like, man, this guy, there's something wrong with this dude's life. It may not be anything wrong with that man's life, but what you see is that you always having to step in and solve his problems. Nothing wrong with being a support system, but again, it has to be on both sides. Can he do for you in the same manner that you are doing for him? And this is the hard thing. I think this is probably the hardest thing out of all of it. I know women, y'all are very sweet, you guys are very caring, you guys are very nurturing, but don't get that twisted when a man is exploiting your generosity. Because a man could take advantage of your kindness. He can take advantage and manipulate your generosity because he knows you're not going to say no all the time. He knows you're not going to say no, which leads into the next part of this, is that if he does not respect your boundaries, he's using you. A man who respects your boundaries is a man that is not using you. A man who disrespects your boundaries is a man that is using you. What if it's emotional, physical, spiritual boundaries, or even personal boundaries? If he's pushing the limits on those boundaries to get his need met, that is a telltale sign that he is using you, because he's not worried about what you got going on. He's hyper-focused on getting his need met. Now, when a man disregards your boundaries, not just disregarding your boundaries, but what it actually is him not taking your needs in consideration. If you communicate something that is important and he dismisses it, then he's not treating you with respect. And he may not be even stepping in when you have needs, saying like, hey, how can I help you? It's more so like, oh, well, I still need this done. And that is a huge red flag. And that is something you cannot ignore. And when you feel as if your boundaries are being crossed or he's not putting your needs first, it's very manipulative. It's very manipulative behavior. And he actually might guilt trip you or gaslight you to put your boundaries aside so that he can get his needs met. And this is where you always, again, going back to the kindness and women being nurturers and being generous, have to be really, really careful with that, because that's a telltale sign that he's using you. Again, he's not going to admit it and say it, but the fact of the matter is he is using you. Now, healthy relationships are built off of mutual respect, not just it being one-sided or you always doing for him and he's never doing for you. Now, if you're feeling used in a relationship, it is super important for you to address what your needs are with your partner. Now, if you're feeling as if you are being used in a relationship, communication is super, super important. And if you don't have that communication and you don't have those conversations, or you don't continue to set boundaries or really figure out what is it that you want out of this relationship and your needs aren't being met, you have to reevaluate your position in the relationship. You have to reposition your position in that man's life. Meaning, are you going to continue with this, or are you going to make a decision to trying to find a man who's actually going to not take advantage and just use you? Now, if this video resonates with you, I have some other videos right here y'all should check out when it comes down to dating and also being in relationships, and just actual practical things to consider when we talk about the dating and relationship phase. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, do all those great things to keep these videos going. Until next time, y'all take care.